being kinder to yourself matters. Let me start with a small confession. I'm far kinder to complete strangers than I am to myself. If someone else forgets something, well, I say, oh, don't worry about it. If I forget something, I say, well, honestly, what's wrong with you? I don't know when that became acceptable, but apparently somewhere along the way, I decided I was no longer entitled to patience. And I don't think I'm alone in that. As we get older, something curious happens. We become more understanding of other people and far less understanding of ourselves. We excuse everyone else. Well, they're tired, they've been through a lot, life is complicated. But when it comes to us, we seem to believe we should have reached some advanced level of perfection by now. And if there's an age where we were supposed to graduate from being human, if that ceremony exists, I must have missed it, possibly because I couldn't find my glasses. I've noticed that the voice in our heads can get a little sharper with age. Not louder, just more pointed. It keeps track of what we didn't do, what we should have done, and what we're still not doing properly. It has a very impressive memory for mistakes and a remarkably poor memory for everything we've survived. And goodness, we survived a lot. We lived through raising families, building lives, holding things together, and carrying responsibilities that never came with instruction manuals. We figured things out as we went, often exhausted, often unsure, and usually doing the best we could with what we knew at the time. Yet somehow, now that life has slowed down just a little, we sit quietly and critique the performance. I think part of the problem is that when we were younger, we were too busy to be this self-critical. We were moving, doing, managing, fixing, and coping. There wasn't much time to sit around and analyze every thought or feeling. But as the noise of life softens, that inner voice gets clearer, and sometimes it's not terribly kind. It says things like, you should be over this by now, or you shouldn't still feel like this, or my personal favorite, honestly, you're old enough to know better. Better than what exactly? Better than feeling unsure? Better than slowing down? Better than needing rest? Well, because I'm fairly certain no one ever reaches an age where they no longer need kindness, especially from themselves. And another thing that sneaks up on us is how our relationship with our bodies changes. Things don't move quite the way they used to. Energy arrives when it darn well feels like it, stays briefly, and then leaves without much notice. Memory occasionally takes a detour too, and instead of responding with understanding, we often respond with frustration. We scold ourselves as if our bodies are malfunctioning machines. Instead of lifelong companions that have carried us through decades of living, if your body could talk back, it might say, I've done my best. Perhaps a little gratitude wouldn't hurt. Being kind to yourself doesn't mean pretending everything is wonderful all the time. It doesn't mean denying aches, changes, or limits. It means acknowledging them without turning them into character flaws. It means recognizing when you're tired and resting without guilt. It means laughing when you forgot why you walked into the room instead of turning it into evidence of decline. Honestly, if forgetting why you walked into a room were a moral failing, none of us would be allowed out without supervision. One of the great underappreciated gifts of aging is that we finally get to loosen the rules. We don't have to be productive every minute. We don't have to explain ourselves constantly. We don't have to say yes when we mean no, or smile when we'd rather be quiet. And yet, many of us still treat ourselves as if we're being graded. At this age, surely, we deserve a pass-fail system, and I vote we all pass. Being kinder to yourself might look very ordinary. It might look like choosing comfort over appearance. It might look like, letting go of old expectations that no longer fit. It might look like doing less and enjoying it more, or it might simply look like speaking to yourself the way you would speak to someone you love, with patience, humor, and a little understanding. We forget that the critical voice in our heads was often born out of trying to do well. We wanted to be responsible, capable, dependable. We wanted to get things right. That voice once served a purpose, but now it's outdated. It's like keeping a very old alarm clock that goes off, even when there's no fire. At this stage of life, we don't need to be harder on ourselves. We need to be wiser, and wisdom doesn't shout. It soothes. There's something incredibly freeing about realizing that you don't need to fix yourself. You're not a project. You're a person who has lived, loved, lost, learned, and kept going. You don't need improvement. You need companionship, especially from yourself. So perhaps the invitation now is simple. Instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" we might try asking, "What do I need?" Instead of pushing, we might try listening. Instead of criticizing, we might try kindness, even if it feels unfamiliar at first. And yes, it will feel unfamiliar. Many of us are much better at encouraging others than ourselves. But like most things, kindness gets easier with practice, and there's no age limit on learning that. Before I go, let me leave you with a thought. Imagine speaking to yourself today the way you would speak to a dear friend who has had a long, full life. What would you say? What tone would you use? Would you rush them, judge them, or tell them they should be better by now? Or would you say, "Of course you're tired. Of course you're still learning. Of course you don't have it all. You don't have it all figured out. Look how far you've come. This is the age where gentleness and kindness make sense. This is the age where it belongs. And you are allowed, completely and without apologizing to give it to yourself." I'm so happy you're sharing your time with me. And if you have a comment on any of these, please feel free to post them in the comments below. And only if you have time, please subscribe and like these videos. It will boost it out to others who might need this message. Thank you. Meanwhile, treat yourself with kindness. Take care. Until the next time, love ya. Bye for now.